What's going on, movie fans? My name is Michael Weer. I love talking about movies, and today we are going to talk about the latest action movie to hit theaters, The Equalizer 3. And while this is the third movie in the franchise, this is only the second movie in the franchise that I've taken time to see because I saw the first one right when it first came out, and I didn't vibe with it. It wasn't really my thing. I was like, it's fine. And then I skipped the second one completely, and then my little brother was like, hey, you got to go with me to see part 3. So I went we saw Equalizer 3, and I was pleasantly surprised. So maybe I'll have to go back and watch the second one now. Let's do the review.
Do I look like a killer?
And so, guys, The Equalizer 3 is directed by Antoine Fuqua. It stars Denzel Washington, who has collaborated with Antoine Fuqua on several occasions in his career. But the movie also stars Dakota Fanning, which is cool because I remember her as a child actress. She was fantastic in War of the Worlds, several other movies that she was in back then, and then she just sort of dropped off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to her. And now she's back in this movie, and I thought she did a great job, and I hope to see her in more going forward. With all that said, let's get into the synopsis for Equalizer 3. So basically, this movie starts with Denzel on some sort of a mission in Sicily at a winery, and while you don't see the events of what happened, you sort of see the aftermath of what's happened, and it's brutal. There's bodies everywhere. And so this main boss shows up to that place, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna figure this out. One thing leads to another. Denzel gets out alive, but he also gets out injured and doesn't get to leave Sicily as originally planned. He's taken in by these people in this town, and they take care of him. They nurse him back to health. He realizes these are great people, and this is where I think I need to be in my life. But then, as it turns out, the town of people that were so nice, so kind to him, they are all being overrun by people trying to run them out of town and build hotels and casinos where they have a little town. So now they've got a problem with the Equalizer, Denzel Washington. And actually, that's a pretty cool setup for a movie. And if Denzel was a lot younger and they had gone with sort of a John Wick style action movie, that would have made sense completely. But since he's not younger, I was really worried they were going to go with a John Wick style and it was going to be very unbelievable, but they didn't. I appreciated that too. But we're going to get into my likes here in a second. That's the setup for the movie. If that movie sounds interesting to you, you can go check it out in theaters. So that's the basic setup for the movie. Let's get into my likes and my dislikes. My first like for this movie is going to be something I sort of touched on a second ago, and that is the pacing of the action for an aged Denzel. And what I mean by that is that, again, had they gone the style of, oh, this is going to be John Wick style action, or even Chris Hemsworth in Extraction style action, it doesn't work for an older guy like that. To me, it just doesn't work. But the way they were able to pace the action scenes to fit Denzel's age, for the most part, there's a couple times during the movie where he has an action scene, you're kind of like, I don't know if somebody your age could pull that off. But for the most part, his killing in this movie, his assassinating in this movie is more methodical. He takes them out one at a time, and there's a scene where he kind of clears a house one room at a time, one henchman at a time, till he gets to the final boss. And it's a really good scene, and it's done really well. Like I said, the action is paced well for someone his age. My other like for this movie is going to be the villain storyline for this movie. And while it's a very generic storyline, like it's a couple of brothers who are taking over this town slowly but surely, they're using force to do it. All these good and nice people who help the Equalizer out, well, guess what? They don't care about them at all. And their plan is to sort of milk them dry. And then when they have no money left, they're going to kick them all out and build hotels and casinos and make this Sicily town a resort area. And so that plot has been done so many times, but it works here. And it works because you know the Equalizer's there, and he is going to take care of this shit. And it's so fun when he finally does. Like when he stands up to somebody, first of all, you have a world-class actor like Denzel in the movie, but when this guy steps up to somebody, you know, oh, these people just crossed the line. And so it's really fun to watch that storyline play out. Even though it's a storyline we've seen so many times, they find a way to make it feel fresh. And again, they make it exciting because every time they do something and the Equalizer's just watching them, you're like, yeah, you're going to pay for that later. I don't know how, but you're going to pay for that later. And there's a good payoff in this movie for those events. So it all works out. Getting into my dislikes for this movie, guys, I will say right off the bat that these dislikes are on me completely. I completely take the blame for not watching the second movie in this franchise. So these things didn't work for me because I skipped the second movie. Had I watched it, these might not be dislikes. But with that said, my dislikes are that the main storyline of this movie and the main subplot storyline of this movie are both connected to events in the second film. So if you skipped the second film or if you haven't seen it, you will be as lost as I was, because the main storyline, the reason he's in Sicily in the first place, is all based on events, a very small event in the second film, and then the subplot is based on a huge event from the second film. And again, if you haven't seen it, you're going to be lost. And I think movies should try to stand on their own, even if they're part of a franchise. So I got to knock the movie for that, because again, it's my fault. I'll take the blame, but at the same time, movies should be able to stand on their own, in my opinion. Overall, guys, I will say that I think The Equalizer is a fun time. If you enjoyed the previous Equalizer movies, or you're a big fan of Denzel Washington or even Antoine Fuqua's work, then I think you will really enjoy this movie and you should go check it out in theaters. If you're just looking for a run-of-the-mill action film, then maybe wait for this one on streaming, because I think you'll get the same experience out of this movie, whether you watch it at your house or you watch it at the theaters. That's just my opinion, because those are my thoughts, and that's my review for The Equalizer 3. Guys, have you had a chance to check out The Equalizer 3 yet? If you have, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'd love to know your thoughts. And finally, if you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button, because it helps the video, it helps the channel, and it helps me right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Alright guys, we got to the end of the Equalizer 3 movie review, and I'm ready for the Equalizer to be done. I'd like to see Denzel move on to something else, because while he was cool in this role, it'd be nice to see Denzel move on to something else. I'd like to see him in a horror movie. Has Denzel done horror? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if he's done horror, because I'll watch that. With that said, though, if you like this review and you want to watch any of my other ones, well, I've got all my 2022 reviews right there, and all of my 2023 reviews right there.